All right.
So here we go. Let's get into the meat of the show. First, a little shout out to our sponsor, IDP Guys. You can go and find them, idpguys.org, on Twitter at IDP Guys. Obviously, it's near and dear to my heart. This is where I come from. I am the CEO of that company. And, it's your go-to place for IDP, individual defensive fantasy football. And we've got a multitude of content, premium data, tools that are in development, tools that are there for you to go and win your leagues, win your fantasy week. So definitely go check that out, idpguys.org. We're in the same boat as Statement Games, kind of building ourselves up, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming in the very near future. So, but with that, let's transition over to Sunday's game, the game we're talking about today. It is the Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks, and that'll be the Sunday night game. So what I'm seeing in this game is you've got the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently undefeated after 4 weeks. They're averaging between 30 and 40 points a game. And on the flip side, you got the Minnesota Vikings, who have not the impressive record that Seattle has. They're 1-3, but if you look at those games, they're in every single one of them. They lost one game by a point. Kirk Cousins is doing what he can to keep the games close, or keep the team in the games. But I really, from my perspective, I'm looking at this as a Seattle win. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm waiting to see. I really want to know if Chris Carson gets back on the field, because I believe he might have – I think they're saying it was a concussion that took him off midway through the last game. So I think if he's there, it's even greater chances of a very solid Seattle win. But Russell Wilson is, not someone to count out in a game like this. He can run out of the pocket. He can make incredible throws. He's going to get it done. And so that's, kind of what I'm seeing in this. But before we get into the actual making picks, we went through this last week. Mark, why don't you give us the recap of what our picks did last episode?
All right. So I don't want to brag, but I am going to, because we made our picks last week here. So for last Sunday night's game here, I am kind of on record, and I squeaked it out, but I was on record of taking the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers over under total at under 45.5. So I hit that one. I wound up taking the Philadelphia Eagles plus 7.5. And the other third one that I actually liked was the fact that with Deebo Samuel's coming back, and although they didn't talk about here, a big part of that thing here was Kittle's coming back for San Francisco as well. So I like the Kendrick Bourne and Trent Taylor under 80.5 combined receiving yards here. So I end up hitting on that here. So I'm definitely on a bit of a roll coming into, I guess, technically week number 5, but our actual week number 2 of making picks, if you want to call it that here. Not so bad yourself here. A couple of things that came up, but I got you for, let's see here. I had you for San Francisco. You actually liked the 49ers plus 7.5. You had Robbie Gould over 1.5 field goals, and McKinnon over or a half of a touchdown. So we have to score a touchdown in order for you to hit that one. So that's what we're actually looking at. We'll continue to keep tabs and do a quick recap as we move into our featured game of the day.
Mm-hmm.
In this case
absolutely.
Here, it's the Sunday night game here. Same thing, right? So hey, look, you know what? It's the whoever plays this game, in addition to the coins that you actually win, just like last week when somebody or a couple of people won a few $100s here. In this case, there will be a winner. right? So
Yeah.
somebody is going to win an NFL jersey of their choice if they choose to play the IDP guys Sunday night football game on Statement Games between the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. The way it works is the Statement Game system will fill up contests up till 12. Once that 12th person kind of hits, that contest will come off the board and a new one will populate, and we'll run as many of those different contests as we possibly can up until about 5 minutes before kickoff. And then once the game kind of starts, we'll have a list of contests that have been generated underneath that framework of that tournament. And the individual contest winner who outperforms all of the other contest winners within that Minnesota Vikings Seattle Seahawks tournament is going to win a Statement Games jersey of your choice. But all you're going to do is win a contest and you're winning coins. And in fact, all you're going to do is finishing first, second, and third in any contest, and technically you're a winner on the Statement Games platform. So that's a quick little overview of what we kind of got running. That's a little bit of an additional incentive in addition to the coins that you can win on the Statement Games platform. And for this game here, I'm kind of in alignment with you here. I'm looking at it from the perspective of when I am always looking to make some type of gaming or gambling pick here. First and foremost, I never ask a team to do something that they've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at the fact that the Vikings are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 trips to Seattle. Of course, they don't play Seattle every single year, but it's just something kind of funky that I'm kind of looking at here. And then from the Seattle perspective, I'm looking at the fact that they're 6-1-1 against the spread in their last 8 games as a home favorite. So for that, and then you also combine the fact that, my opinion, it's a better quarterback up Seattle. Team's on a roll. Coach has them, playing hard, playing well. They're coming back home here. So as we make our picks here, I'm in line with you, and where my picks are going to be, they'll have a couple little twists, but I'm in agreement that I think Seattle wins this game.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Seattle is a great team, especially this year. Russell Wilson is MVP candidate for the season so far. Like, he's in the running. And yeah, I think this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I definitely put this in favor of Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. So, Mark, why don't you give us your first pick and we'll slot it in?
Well, we're on the top of Russell Wilson, MVP candidate, kind of playing well. So I guess the way that it's going to work here, I'm going to make the first pick, but you're going to have the option of slotting this pick in the empty kind of slots here. So in this environment here, you and I are playing as a team. I'm not exactly sure what contest number that we've joined here, and we'll review this next week here. But you and I are physically trying to kick the crap out of everybody else that we're playing against, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So with that in mind, look, so far Russell Wilson has already thrown for 1,285 yards this season. He's averaging 321.25 yards per game. When you just take that number divided by 4, I understand that a couple of games on the road, it's a little bit different from the way he plays at home here. But if we're just taking a look at the deviant, 321 versus our line, or the line that's on Statement Games at 315, I feel that I'm getting a little bit of a break here. So my first pick would be Russell Wilson over 315 yards passing.
All right, I like that too. I think I'm going to put this one in. I'm going to put this one in at 8. I'm high on it, but I think that there might be a couple things that are higher.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to start off with. So, like I said, I like Seattle, but I also think Minnesota stays in it. If you go back through the games, both teams are averaging between 30 and 40 points a game. Obviously, Seattle more so, as they're actually undefeated right now. But Minnesota's had losses, bad beats of just 1 point, where they scored 30 points, the other team scored 31. So I like this to be a high scoring affair. So I'm going to go with, where are we here? Total points over 57.5. And you tell me where to place it.
Let's just leave that right there at number 10.
Perfect.
And although we're giving a lot of praise to Russell Wilson and Seattle, and I actually I agree. I believe this game goes over. I feel that there's a lot of points that are being scored here, but I disagree with you in a little bit of a sense here, and where I don't think that this game is close. I
Okay.
believe that Seattle kind of covers the spread, and I believe that they put up a lot of points. I believe that they put up a lot of points, kind of a lot of points by midway through like the third quarter. So with that in mind here, I feel that Seattle will have a cushion as they get into the later stages of the game. As they have kind of like a big cushion here, it's more about ball control and running the ball here. So I feel that Russell Wilson is throwing the ball like a lot less. So although I feel that he puts up over 315 yards over the course of the game here, when you're taking a look at that completions total, a completions total of 27.5, I'm going to take that as an under. Russell Wilson under 27.5 completions, because of the fact that I think that they'll be up significantly as they get towards the later stages of the game, which results in them throwing the ball less and playing more of the ball control game and running out the clock. So I would take that as my second pick, and let's see where you slot that in at.
So I'm going to keep that right at number 9 because I fully agree with you that Russell he's also just the type of quarterback that he can get it done with his feet, so he doesn't have to throw as much. So that kind of takes, some of his needed completions away. And then also, he gets up early in games and can kind of ride it out in the run game. So 100% on board with you, and I really like that pick in number 9. So I think this is where we got a little bit of a contention because I see this as, Russell Wilson getting up and then Minnesota Vikings having to throw to keep it close. And we kind of discussed this a little bit before the episode. So I'm actually going Seattle under the spread, under 7.5.
And look, we're playing as a team here. So although I don't necessarily agree with the pick here, I'm going to be now rooting for it because we're playing as a team. We need to beat the other turkeys that we're actually playing against. So just because I differ from that, let's drop that down to the number 6 slot.
All right.
But I'm sorry. Let's go with 7, the 7 slot. We already populated font, so I'm sorry. What we got here? Let's go with the number 5 slot.
5 slot. Gotcha. Got
there
it
you
right
go.
here.
The last possible. There we go here. But I do kind of like that premise, which is the segue into my third and last pick here, because I see Minnesota trailing the game and having to throw or being behind the game here. They're going to have to step back and throw the ball a lot. Obviously, they're trying to get back into the game here. So, of course, as you throw the ball more, you're giving the defense an opportunity to put a lot more pressure on the quarterback. So because throwing the ball a lot more, trying to get back to the game here, great opportunity for the Seattle Seahawks defense to tee off on, hey, Kirk Cousins is not necessarily, Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson in terms of mobility here. So as my third pick here, I'm going to lock in on the Seattle Seahawks defense over 2.5 sacks.
There it is. All right. And I like it right there at 7. I definitely, as an IDP guy, I know that the Vikings, the Seattle Seahawks have an amazing defense and definitely have that ability to come in and just rock a quarterback. And Kirk Cousins, like the perfect candidate. He's one of those old style QBs, does not run much at all unless it's running for his life. And, he's very firm in the pocket. So I think that Seattle can definitely come in and knock him down a time or two. Actually, at least 3 times is all you need here to win that one.
We just need 3.
Yeah,
we just need 3.
So with that, I'm going to go. This one's a little bit on a limb, but I really like this guy, Justin Jefferson, for the Vikings, has come out in the last couple weeks and kind of exploded a little bit. He had a great game 2 weeks ago, even a solid game last week, and he's working his way into a offense that just lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason and is really trying to find its identity. And at 4.5 receptions, that's a very low number for Justin Jefferson to reach. So I like right there Justin Jefferson over 4.5 receptions in this game. So with that, we lock it in, right?
Lock it in. Lock it in. I think we're good. Yep.
There we go. We locked in that. We have our statement games contest all set. As you see it, it's really kind of going along the lines of Seattle dominating, it being an overall high-scoring affair, and we even got like the kicker in there and everything. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how we do this week.